Good afternoon. Welcome back to Tropical Chatter, your go-to source for online information regarding the 2017 hurricane season. Let's jump right into it as we have Hurricane Dora spinning strongly in the eastern Pacific. This is the visible satellite image. You can see nicely the eye of the hurricane. It's a beautiful looking storm. I want to show you the infrared satellite from the GOES 16. You still have to say preliminary non-operational data from NASA. As you can see, this is a beautiful system. High cloud tops, clouds extending all the way back to the coast of Mexico, and it has a beautiful look. Outflow going all the way around the storm. The storm's still strengthening here. It's a very good looking system. Take you to the National Hurricane Center. This gives you an idea where it is on the map here. Here's the Baja Peninsula up here. It's not going to affect anywhere. Coast of Mexico down in this region here could get some rain, gusty winds. But Dora is moving away from the coast, and it's not going to be an issue for anybody. I want to show you the track out of the National Hurricane Center. Here we go. We do have sustained winds as of the 9 a.m. advisory of 85 miles per hour. It is moving west-northwest at 13 miles an hour. We do expect it to weaken over the next 24 to 36 hours as it moves into colder waters and less favorable environment. I wouldn't be surprised if it weakens even quicker. I'll show you some of the sea surface temperatures and you'll get an idea of why. So let's hop into the sea surface temperatures here. Let me pull that up for you. Alright, here they are. We have Dora in this area here, right off the Mexican coast. And as you can see, it's running out of warm water here. As it gets up a little bit west-northwest of where it currently is, it runs into much colder water that is not favorable for hurricane development or to continue strengthening, even to sustain its current strength. So it is going to weaken in about 24 hours, so it's not going to cause a problem for just about anybody, which is good news, but it is a nice looking hurricane right now. I want to show you, this is the sea surface temperatures here. The Atlantic is awfully warm. Second shade of yellow and orange in this area here. All this can easily sustain a hurricane. Anywhere in this area here can develop a hurricane. It's very warm. The MDR, the main development region off the coast of Africa to the Windward and Leeward Islands. This area is very warm. It's above average. And if the African dust is not that strong this year, we are going to see a busy season in this area. If the Atlantic High, Bermuda High is in place, it could spell trouble for the east coast of America, Florida, even if it's very strong and flexes muscle, the Gulf Coast. None of these areas are out of the woods this year. Come September and August and September and October, we're in for a bumpy ride, I believe. It's going to be an interesting season. See how many landfalls we have. It's going to be an interesting season as it develops. Now here's the sea surface temperature anomalies. This is you can see here it's pretty interesting. Where Cindy passed through in the Gulf of Mexico is now below normal. That churned up a lot of cold water from down below the sea surface. And that's going to rebound very quickly. Down here a couple days ago where Brett passed through, that was also below normal due to Brett passing by, but it has rebounded nice and quickly. As you can see here, the anomalies off the African coast and in the MDR, like I talked about, is all above normal. Anywhere from half a degree Celsius to a full degree, even sometimes 1.5 degrees Celsius. Up here in the North Atlantic, it's way colder than average. This is going to force all our energy down here in the MDR and the Caribbean and the Western Atlantic. This is going to make for an interesting season. When it's cold up here and warm down below it, it's a good recipe for a lot of storms in the Atlantic. As you can see, off the east coast of the U.S. is very warm again. The Gulf Stream is just about normal, average, right around average. And expected to get warmer as we go. There's no doubt about it. Gulf of Mexico, it'll rebound in the next week or so. That's not a problem. It's just turned up from Tropical Storm Cindy. That'll go away pretty shortly. I want to show you a couple other things today, and this is the 7-day change. I want to go back and forth from the anomaly to the change, 7-day change. You can see almost the entire world's oceans are cooling right now. Here's the anomalies, here's the past 7 days change. Anomalies, everything's still warm. The world's oceans are warm right now, there's no doubt about it. Here's 7 days change though. It's cooling just about everywhere in the world. Off of Australia, off of South America, the Atlantic, even the MDR is cooling except off the coast of Africa. Gulf of Alaska cooling some. The Western Pacific down by Japan and Philippines where all those major typhoons happen. It's still plenty warm, but it is cooling. Indian Ocean's cooling. The entire planet's oceans are cooling the past 7 days. It's pretty interesting. I want to see how long this lasts. See, just how low they do get. It's pretty interesting stuff here. 7-day change, pretty much, the entire Atlantic is cooling. This is from Tropical Storm Cindy. Down here is from Tropical Storm Brett. Off the coast of Africa is still warming. That's pretty interesting. As these waves come off Africa, there's going to be plenty of energy this year to, fire these off quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple storms are named as close as the Cape Verde Islands over here. It's pretty rare for that to happen, but it's definitely a possibility this year. I want to show you the African dust layer. This is one factor of the Atlantic hurricane season that can make or break some seasons. It's pretty hard to predict. Right now, we do have some big clouds of African dust rolling off the continent. As you can see, the brighter colors are the thicker areas of dust. This can really choke off a hurricane or a tropical storm, tropical wave. Anything that rolls off Africa, if it comes out into a cloud of dust, it's a goner. It chokes it out. Sometimes these storms can wait it out. They can just be weak waves, open waves, until the dust either zooms past it or backs off or diminishes some. But if a wave comes off at the same time one of these large dust clouds comes off, it chokes it right out. It's really hard for them to develop in these clouds of dust. So this is an animation. It is a couple days old, but you do get an idea. This cloud of dust here is now getting closer to the islands. These islands down here, Windward and Leeward Islands, this dust is going to create some awesome sunrises and sunsets. Prepare for that. Take some pictures if you're on vacation. Share them on social media. It's going to make it pretty cool. As you can see, they do die out as it gets into the Western Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico. A couple days from now, you're going to see another one emerge off the coast of Africa here. And at the end of the animation, you can kind of see it relaxing. As the dust gets trapped in this part of Africa up here, it does clear out in the MDR a bit here. So that's a chance for us to get another named system. If you want to take a look at the GFS with me, I will pull that up right now. You can see there's not much in the way of development predicted right now on the GFS. But you can see in the long range a bit, we do have another wave coming off Africa that does look like it might develop. This is a long way out, so it's going to change. It's going to change 35 times before it actually happens or it doesn't happen. But let's take a look at that. So here we are right now. Let me advance this in the future a little bit. 1824, 36 hours out. We're talking about, look around the coast of Africa in about 96 hours. We're at 72 right now. Alright, here we go. In about 90 hours, we do have a wave emerge off Africa. It does have it as a closed low already. It's advanced this forward a little bit, and you can see how it develops. This is, oh, I'm sorry, I just clicked the refresh button. That's alright, I'll bring it right back to hour 90. And we're going to advance it forward. It does have a closed low. It is very slow to develop. It's actually not even a depression. It's just pretty much an open tropical wave. And it does have a closed low, but that doesn't matter much. And as it gets closer to the islands, it does start to develop some. Now we have a couple down to 1,007 millibars, 1,005. As it approaches the northern islands, it does begin to strengthen some. And GFS is interesting. It actually keeps it north of the islands, north of Puerto Rico, DR. all that areas, and brings it right into the Bahamas. It does weaken it as it gets to the Bahamas, but that is interesting that it keeps it all the way alive from the coast of Africa into the Bahamas. And obviously the run doesn't end at hour 384. When you're getting that far out, it doesn't matter. One run it'll be right here. The next run it'll be up here. The next run it'll be down here in Mexico. The run after that it'll die off here. Run after that it won't even come off of Africa. But last night's GFS does show some signs of development in the mid to long range, 10 to 14 days. For the next 7 to 10 days, I do not expect any development at all. Conditions in the Caribbean, as normal in this time of year, are pretty hostile. We do have a lot of dust out in this region currently right now. In about 10 to 14 days, we do expect that to relax a little bit. As sea surface temperatures rebound in the Gulf, about 14 days from now, they should be plenty warm again. They're plenty warm right now, but should be, primed for development again in about 10 to 14 days. We've got to watch all this area here. Big Atlantic high pressure. It's going to keep everything to the south here. There's very little chance of escaping for all these storms here. If it's not going to be correct, but if this GFS is correct and we have a storm right here, the only way it rounds the high pressure up here and goes up and off the coast. It's just one run. It is interesting, again, at the end of this run, it does have another development. This is like a tropical depression or a tropical storm. Again, in the MDR, off the coast of Africa. This is early in the year. We're talking about, all the way out. Still July 12th now, this would be. But it's early in the year for these storms to be coming off Africa and developing. We already had Tropical Storm Brett develop from a tropical wave that rolled off Africa, tracked all the way down, affected the northern South American coast, the Windward Islands. It's very rare for the time of year we had it, and for the GFS to keep putting these storms off of the coast of Africa and developing them, something to watch for. These systems, if this high pressure is going to be locked in for most of the summer here, which is possible, these storms are going to have nowhere to go, whether they come up in this area or this area or somewhere in between. It's going to be an interesting pattern here. Of course, we're going to have times where the high breaks and the high weakens, and we get the ones that cut up and that are the classic fish storms here. But right now, it does look like the east coast of America, the Caribbean, the Gulf, we're in for a bumpy ride this hurricane season. A lot of things can change if dust gets too strong, if the dust is more prevalent than we currently believe it will be. This dust can really choke out a hurricane season if it lasts the entire year. It can cut back the numbers and the development, very easily. Something we have to watch out for, as we can, keep an eye out on the sea surface temperatures as they develop or continue to increase and change. This is the current anomalies. I want to go back to this. And the 7-day change. The entire world's oceans are cooling right now. It's pretty awesome, pretty interesting. A lot of the heat that gets trapped in these oceans that all the global warming people talk about, it's being released right now. It's just not here. Look at the cooling in the past 7 days. The entire world's oceans are cooling right now. But they're still above normal. They're still above normal temperature-wise. So we're going to see. We're going to see this area here off the coast of Africa. How many storms can that produce? How many waves are going to roll off the African wave train, as we call it, get into this area here and blossom? How many are going to become hurricanes? How many are going to, get killed by trade winds and shear? It's going to be an interesting next month or two as we get into the heart of hurricane season. I would, something to watch. I want you guys to stay tuned. Stay alert, be prepared. Follow me on Twitter at stormforce_1. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be posting more updates pretty constantly, every couple days. As a storm comes, there'll be every day, sometimes a couple times a day. And I'll leave you with Hurricane Dora, 85-mile-per-hour storm. Will not affect land. It's going to head off west-northwest, away from the coast of Mexico. And have a great day, guys.